Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely wild story, a real case study in power, illusion, and autonomy. It's the story of a young woman named Adaline and a man named Gordon. And trust me, this narrative, it perfectly captures the hidden and honestly devastating costs of extreme power imbalances. We're going to look at exactly what happens when absolute desperation meets quiet coercion. But right off the bat, I want you to ask yourself something. What would you do if a powerful person handed you an impossible choice? Seriously, put yourself in those shoes for a second. Imagine being totally backed into a corner where every single option feels like a massive loss and your entire future is suddenly in the hands of someone holding all the cards. Keep that feeling in the back of your mind as we go through this explainer.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1, Adaline's Double Life.
So to really understand this impossible choice, you've got to understand Adaline's reality first. It's a tale of two completely different lives. On one hand, she's a 21-year-old nursing student. She's studying around the clock because she really wants to help people, but she is exhausted. I mean, bone tired. She's broke, her apartment is literally freezing because she can't afford a heater, and rent is a constant crushing stress. But then, on the other hand, there's the illusion. To survive, she works nights as a high-end fashion model. In that world, she looks incredibly confident, totally glamorous. She's at these extravagant brand parties wearing gorgeous borrowed clothes, perfect hair, perfect makeup. But underneath it all, it's incredibly lonely. She's standing there, listening to wealthy people casually chat about luxury cars and vacations, while in her head, she's silently doing the math just to figure out how she's going to survive the week. She's basically playing a part just to keep her head above water. And stepping right into that fragile reality is a man named Gordon. Now, Gordon is 57 years old. He's a massively important, incredibly serious player in the fashion industry. And right there, you see the dynamic, right? A 57-year-old industry giant and a 21-year-old struggling student. That is a massive 36-year age and power gap. So picture this. They're at this high-end party. Gordon isn't smiling. He's completely ignoring all the other models trying to get his attention. Instead, his eyes, these cold, calculating eyes, are locked entirely on Adaline. And that right there sets the stage for a seriously unsettling dynamic.
Moving on to Section 2, Gordon's Cold Ultimatum.
This is where the trap snaps shut. Gordon walks straight up to her, completely skipping over any normal small talk, and presents a chillingly coercive deal. He gives her exactly two options. Option 1, date him. If she says yes, she gets everything she desperately needs: a new car, a massive house, expensive clothes. Option 2, say no. And if she says no, he'll use his immense industry power to make absolutely sure she never works as a model again. You see what's happening here? This isn't an invitation. It's a straight-up threat. And Adaline, she's in total shock. She feels completely trapped, terrified, and like she literally can't even breathe. Which brings us to a truly heartbreaking moment. After the party, Adaline goes back to her freezing, unheated apartment. She sits on her beat-up furniture and just looks at her life. A life of studying all day, working all night, and still being relentlessly, painfully poor. The sheer terror of losing her only source of income, of having literally nothing, it's just too much. So, driven by pure survival instinct, she picks up the phone the very next morning, calls Gordon, and says these exact words: "I will do it. I will date you." This leads us to Section 3, the illusion of romance. And wow, things move incredibly fast. Literally 1 hour after that desperate phone call, a black car pulls up for her. Gordon takes her shopping, buys her this stunning red dress. They go out to an ultra-exclusive restaurant where he actually asks about her life. He makes her feel like she's really being heard. And this performance continues for weeks. He's opening car doors, holding her hand, making her laugh. Eventually, he even gifts her a beautiful gold necklace. He methodically constructs this perfect fairy tale romance. And Adaline, who is just so tired of the constant struggle, starts to let her guard down. She feels special. She feels safe. She actually starts believing that, hey, maybe despite the cold start, he really is a good guy. But then we hit Section 4, a simple transaction. So the tension hits a boiling point. It's a quiet evening. They're sitting in Gordon's luxury car on a dark street. He leans in to kiss her, and for just a second, Adaline loses herself in it. But then she pulls away. She feels this overwhelming need to confess a deep secret, even though she is absolutely terrified of how this powerful older man might react. She looks down and says, "I have never been with a man before. I am a virgin." And she braces herself, right? She is fully expecting him to get furious or mock her or call her a child. But instead, Gordon's eyes go wide. He's visibly, unexpectedly delighted. He tells her she's special, that she's incredibly rare, and he promises he's going to take care of her. And for Adaline, hearing those words, all that lingering fear just vanishes. This reaction completely sweeps her off her feet, propelling them up to a flower-filled room in the city's nicest hotel. He pours wine, he listens to her dreams, and she eventually falls asleep on his chest, fully believing she is a woman falling in love, starting a real, meaningful relationship. And then, crash, we hit the harsh reality. It's the morning after. Adaline wakes up fully expecting to see this man she's falling for. Instead, she sees Gordon standing all the way across the room. He's completely dressed in his dark suit, just coldly scrolling through his phone. When she says his name, he looks up at her with those exact same cold eyes from the party. He tells her to get dressed because a driver is waiting, and then he places a thick stack of money right on the bedside table. Boom, the illusion completely shatters. The entire romance, the fancy dinners, the deep conversations, it was all just a transaction. He wanted one thing, he got it, and that cash was her payment. He just goes back to his phone like she doesn't even exist. She leaves that hotel feeling entirely broken. She locks herself in her apartment for 3 straight days and just cries. But you know what? On the 4th day, something incredible shifts. Section 5, Reclaiming Her Power. Adaline decides right then and there that she is not going to play the role of the sad, broken victim. She makes a massive, incredibly brave choice, and it sparks a wild chain reaction. Here's how it plays out. Step 1. Adaline gets on social media and lays it all out. The absolute truth. The party, the coerced dates, the hotel, the money. She doesn't even bother dropping his name because the industry already knows exactly who she means. Step 2. It blows up. A massive scandal ignites almost instantly. Step 3, and this is the true power of speaking up, other models see her post. Women who had been way too terrified of Gordon's power to ever say a word finally step forward, sharing their own remarkably similar stories. And step 4, the takedown. Gordon's reputation is absolutely decimated, and this untouchable, powerful man loses his job. He tries calling her over and over, but she ignores him. She systematically tears down the exact power he used to trap her. Now, actions always have consequences, and the aftermath here is definitely bittersweet. Gordon's original threat? It actually came true. Adaline did lose her modeling career. The industry phone stopped ringing, and she found herself poor again, back in her freezing room. But let's look at the flip side of that equation. Remember that stack of dirty money he left on the bedside table? She took every single cent of it and paid for her university classes. So today, she is a full-time nursing student. She's free from the manipulative control of a powerful man. She has found her own strength, and she is laser-focused on her real future, helping people. She essentially traded away a fake, glamorous illusion for genuine, hard-won autonomy. Which brings us to the end of today's explainer, and I want to leave you with this final, really provocative thought to chew on. If ultimate freedom means losing everything you have, are you willing to pay that price? Adaline looked at her situation, faced the total destruction of her livelihood, and ultimately decided that owning her truth and owning her own future was well worth the cost of the illusion. It's just a remarkably powerful reminder of human resilience when we're stacked against massive power imbalances. Thank you so much for joining me today to unpack this story. Take some time to really think about that final question, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.